Hello, hello, hello. And that's not RuPaul you're listening to. It's me, Dangilo, and I'm here with another episode of Binge Bitches. We're talking Real Housewives, and we're talking shit. And we're also going to talk about Vanderpump Rules, and we're talking about a mean queen. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to bring in my co-host for the day, Ms. Vanderpump.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So we only have one co-host today because one of us is back at the work site and slinging, what's it called? Barbecue.
Meat.
Yes. So if you are in the hood, go visit little Mr. Nelson down at Wood Ranch. So they're socially distancing down there.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good food.
Their tri-tip is like off the hook. Like, and
so good.
I better get a coupon from this business at some point. So, oh my God. So let's like talk about stuff. So the thing is so like the world's on fire and we're also seeing a revolution and all that kind of thing going on, which is amazing. Black Lives Matter and all that. And so the thing is and I actually today put inside the description of this video, if you're watching it either on Facebook or on YouTube, you're gonna see it on the description, for a organization called the Okra Project. And so they actually are funding and they're getting Black trans people on their feet. And that's their main mission is Black trans people. So I think that's a very important thing. And we want to make sure that we just kind of throw some support wherever we can. So do look in the description of this video and you will see who the Okra Project is. And the thing is, it's like you can do small donations of like $5. So like every little bit helps. So that being said, I want to take us out of the real world and the COVID of it all. And since we are still in Quar, let's talk about housewives and let's talk about bullshit. So I wanted to bring up Lea Michele. Have you read shit about her? Have you seen any of this?
Yes, I've seen it all.
Oh my God, she's terrible. She's a terrible person.
She's a snobby little theater bitch.
Absolutely. Hey, we're getting hellos. Hello from Kixie Vixen Styles. She said hi.
I miss your face.
And Eric Hallowell is saying, what up, loco? What up with you? We are doing a Housewives recap, and we're also going to talk some shit about Lea Michele right now because she's a terrible person. So, that being said, yes. Oh my God. And the thing is, it would be one thing if she just had like one little like rumor out there about her. But this is like multiple people just kind of chiming in. People from Broadway when she was 12 years old saying that they were afraid of her. Like, So, did you see the whole thing about, what's her name now? Samantha
Wade, is it?
Samantha Wade, yes.
Is it? Okay.
And so,
yes. That was the first thing that came out.
Samantha Ware. I'm sorry, Samantha Ware, W-A-R-E. Samantha Ware is a queen. So, but anyways, what had happened is, I'm giving this a title. We're calling it Lea Michele's Growth. Okay, so.
Yeah.
So this whole thing with her, so the Samantha Ware, she basically went on to say, you know, there was a tweet that Lea Michele had put out, basically saying talking about George Floyd, and that this isn't an isolated incident, and then hashtag Black Lives Matter. And Samantha Ware was like, "Fuck you! You made me hell." So she was like vocal, and she used her voice. So we are amplifying hashtag amplified voices. That's what we are doing. So Samantha Ware, what happened here was she had tweeted back to Lea Michele, basically like, "You made my life a living hell." This, you know, and then she cited an incident where Lea Michele basically had said that if she was given the chance, she would shit in her wig.
Yes. Gross.
Okay. If we do not see the racial implications from this comment, okay, that's privilege. That's privilege. Yeah. So we don't talk that way and we do not say those kind of things because it's offensive. And so that's what happened. It's not like Bianca saying she's going to come into your room, cut up your wigs at night, because that is a comment from a drag queen to another drag queen and they both wearing wigs. Yeah. This whole situation with Lea Michele, this is a little bit different because Samantha Ware is a beautiful Black woman and Lea Michele is Lea Michele. So the thing is thing is, yes, and Lea Michele should just watch herself too, because the thing is, she is technically a person of color. You know what I mean? And so, like, we got to hold each other up, and this bitch is not doing that. So that's the whole situation that is going on with Miss Leah Michelle. She is gross, gross, gross. So there's other incidents. Did you see the thing with that one, the model, Plastic Martyr? What she said?
No.
Leah Michelle chased her out of the restroom at the Emmys and said that she didn't belong there because she's trans. So this is telling you Leah Michelle is trash. She's gross.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's like these stories go deep, and I know like Variety's reporting on it, Us Weekly. So go Google, look up your people. We are seeing fallen heroes all over the place.
Yeah, true story.
For real. So let's flip over to, speaking about fallen heroes, let's talk about Vanderpump Rules. 4.
I'm so sad.
4 people.
It's
snap,
depressing.
snap, snap. They just snapped them all. They snapped everybody's necks.
Yeah.
Like,
in the words of Abby Lee Miller, everyone's replaceable.
It really is. Like, they replaced Barbie. You replaced Barbie. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, when you were a kid, Barbie, Skipper, her other friends, Teresa and Kelly, and whoever else the other hoes were. But, and we had Ken. Like, Stassi was Barbie. Like, she was supposed to be the big deal here. And so, and what's in the, it's crazy. The whole entire story of it is that incident wasn't necessarily racial. If you think about it, but it wasn't. So, can you hear me?
You just cut out for that last part. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. So, this whole incident with them, so what we're talking about is on Vanderpump Rules this week, we had 4 people that got the axe. We had the 2 newbies, Max and Brent. Those 2 got knocked off because they had made racial comments back in the past. They have tried to make amends. Some of the stuff that Max said when he was like 14, 16 years old. So there's a little bit of a difference with that. And then now he's like 27. So this is telling you, if you got that shit in your Twitter, and if you have changed your mind, then take that shit out. And if you haven't changed your mind, leave that shit in so we can cancel you. Okay? So those 2 got the axe. We got Brett and Max. Those are out. And then we also have Stassi and Kristen, who are our veterans. The show was built on their backs. You know what I mean? Through their tears and indiscretions. So, if you look at their apologies, you know, Kristen's is a little bit more about, you know, this wasn't racially motivated, but I do understand my privilege. Kristen had a really damn good apology, and I think she's gotten her cancellation and she's lost everything. You know what I mean? And so, like, now it's going to be by your work. So we're going to be where's your change going to happen? You know what I mean? Yeah. So grab a sign, girls. Make a sign. You just moved into a house, Stassi. You got boxes laying everywhere. Use a box half, put Black Lives Matter, and get your ass in them streets. So this way you can kind of save yourself. That's what they're going to have to do now. Is they're going to have to become philanthropists.
Is there a way that they can save themselves from this? Like, I feel like they've lost everything at this point.
I think it's philanthropy. I think it's going to be, it's activism. Like, they are going to have to actively take part in the change that is happening right now, and they can't just put up the black box. They can't just say an apology. It's get out there now. Like, the
boys have. The boys are like
marching, there you go,
doing signs. Like, I haven't seen the girls do anything but their apologies. So
exactly.
The boys, I don't even know if I saw an apology from them, but I see them actively out there. So there's that.
Yeah. And the thing is like, and so like Lily right now, she's saying like that never matters because folks want blood. You know what I mean? True. So yeah, and it's true. Like, the thing is like, people are going to want blood. So the thing is you got to put your blood into the protest now. Like, get your ass out there. Get your like, that's what it's going to have to be. They're going to have to be activists, and they're going to have to like be out there using their timeline. You got millions of people following you on Instagram. That is a huge reach. And the thing is Stassi, coming from New Orleans, coming from the South, she's a Southern princess. Bitch, she can talk to people that none of us can reach. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where she's going to have to do this. That's how she's going to be able to come back. The whole incident here, though, is that a couple years ago. This is in 2018 when these two girls, when Stassi and Kristen, when they both when they made this phone call. And so what happened, so people who are watching, so on Vanderpump Rules, Stassi and Kristen are season 1 veterans, now 8 seasons in, have been fired. And so with that, we're seeing the consequences. What can they do to make things better? But the whole story is that in 2018, when Jax and Faith slept together, this was in retaliation for that with Brittany. And so it was that sort of a thing that, how can we get back at her? What can we do? And what they did was they saw a tabloid article that had this person, a Black woman who was wearing a wig. And so they basically said, oh, doesn't she look just like Faith? No, but still, like different color skin. I mean, and the thing is, it's like a black and white photo. You could tell this is a light skinned girl. Faith is dark. Faith doesn't have that kind of hair. It was just being rude. And it was profiling, and it's touchy. It's a touchy subject, but this is what it is. And so, but there's no more touchy subjects because everything's on the table right now. Either it's a black or white issue. It's a black or an all lives issue.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So, and the thing is and to be on the right side of history is you're going to be on the black issue. You know what I mean? Not on the all lives issue. So, with these two girls, so we got Kristen and Stassi. And so Kristen's apology was a little more heartfelt, and you can see that there was growth inside of it. Stassi's was very much I got to get my shit together because I'm losing everything. And she subsequently, in a day, lost her show. She lost all of her sponsors. Apple.
She lost her book deal, right?
I think so. For the second book,
the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's Cohen's. They're together, I think. Podcast and the book deal.
Yeah, and so her straight up with Stassi. So the thing is the channel that she was on dropped her. You know what I mean? Her network. I think she was on Wondery, and so don't quote me there. Google it and tell me I'm wrong later. But anyways, but so that this whole thing with Stassi and Kristen, and so it's flabbergasting, but it's this is the kind of thing that needed to happen to make people scared, to be top bitches are falling now. You know what I mean? First hired, first fired. And we also got last hired, first fired, because the boys also got knocked off. So I don't think the boys are I don't care about them. They're nothing. They really didn't make that much of an impact this year.
Yeah.
Who would have known that Katie Maloney would have been the most woke out of the WeHo. So I had that this week on my Instagram, that Katie Maloney, if you look at her Instagram, before the shit broke about these two being fired, she had been posting about all of the, the issues that are currently at hand. Yeah. And so she's using her platform, which is just, I commend Katie Maloney, and I can't stand her on the damn show. But this is just showing. And the thing is and it's amazing too, that whole situation with the prank that with the cop prank that they pulled, So Jax and Randall, two of the other characters on the show, if you're just tuning in, they threw out a whole, what's it called? They did a prank on Sandoval, and who's another character on the show. So I know there's a few people I'm actually seeing that are watching that haven't seen the show, or they're not active watchers on Vanderpump Rules. So walking it back a little bit. So there was a birthday situation, they were having a party. They were going to go ahead and they were going to pull a prank on him, and they were going to have cops come that were off duty, that they was paying on the side, to come. Okay, that's another thing. Do we see the problems there? Okay. They're using their cop car to make private money in LA.
More and more we talk about it, the more of a hole it is.
Oh my God. It's we are seeing shit happening. Okay, so this is just blowing my mind. So LAPD that was off duty got paid private money to take their uniform and their car to a film set to go and film this moment where they put somebody in the back of the car. As this is happening, one of the other characters on the show was fuck this shit. This is wrong. This is a sensitive subject. Don't you guys understand what's going on right now in the world with police and brutality? And they did this. And so, and it was like, and it became a big deal because her husband basically treated her like shit. And so, you know what I mean? So that's one of those kind of things. So I have Johnny Barrows here. He just asked, had Lisa commented? Yes. Lisa did make a comment. You can actually go to her Instagram now and you can check that out. Lisa made this comment basically stating that, yeah, you know, you only see a sliver of what she actually hires at Pump Sir and Tom Tom, and that, you know, she has her top person is black or something like that. No, that's something Billy said.
Her head server.
Yeah, her head server is black, but that's something I think Billy said. I don't think that's what she said. But basically, she said that her place is completely diverse and that you're only seeing a sliver of it, that you're actually on Vanderpump, and that, you know, comments have consequences, blah, blah, blah. And so, but people are coming for her. And so, like, on the side.
She's never said anything bad, though, like, or as far as we know.
No.
I mean, if anyone, they should go for Luann from New York.
For blackface?
Blackface.
Yeah, but that was tone deaf because I don't know. If you go back and watch it, I don't know if it was really her doing blackface. I think it was stupid. You know what I mean?
But even the cast was commenting on it, though. When she did, they were saying that.
If enough people say some shit. Okay, so Lisa Vanderpump said, over the past 2 weeks, many things have brought to my attention, of which I and many others were previously unaware. It was necessary for me to be quiet until now, until decisions had been made. Now I can freely speak from the heart. As we've seen such devastating sadness that has played out globally, we have all had a part to play to create a kinder, more just society. My hope is for this generation to treat each other with respect and humanity and realize that actions have and should have consequences. I love and adore our employees, and I am deeply saddened by some of the lack of judgment that has been displayed. As many of you know, after watching me for 10 years, I have always been an equal rights activist and ally. My family, my business, and and I condemn all forms of cruelty, racism, homophobia, bigotry, and unequal treatment, where we've never tolerated it in the workplace or our lives. While you see our fraction of employees, blah, 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 blah. Okay, like this goes on. She was real wordy that the world needs to move forward as a kinder generation. Everybody deserves to feel safe and heard, blah, blah. My only problem with this whole fucking thing, she never said Black Lives Matter.
No.
Come on, Lisa. Tone deaf. Like, she did post something earlier in the week where she said justice will not be served until those who are unaffected or as outraged as those who are. So, but she still has yet to say, like, really Black Lives Matter on any of her stuff. She did a Blackout Tuesday post. Yeah. That's weak, please. Like the more I look into it, I'm like, oh, Lisa, this is why the other girls kicked you out of your house. Like, and your house being Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So these are the consequences. Now we got Sheena's top bitch. We got Ariana top bitch. Like, in the way that everybody is so like melded into each other now, it makes sense. Jackson and Brittany don't make sense anymore to be on the show. Kick them. Those two can go. Right now we got Sheena, who is the bridge between the old and the new cast. You know what I mean? The Toms are in. They got money invested into Tom Tom. So those two are in. Those two are in there. Their wives get put into that situation as well because Ariana and what's her name?
Katie.
Yeah, Katie. Katie the woke one. Katie the woke witch of WeHo. So I'm trying to think here. So then we also have so Sheena kind of bridges the girls. Dana's who they're trying to build everything on. And then as we're watching these finales, so let's talk about those. So let's talk about these like last shows. It was kind of like every single time that Stassi and Kristen talked. Like, was it not like when you were watching?
Oh, totally. I was just like, because I was like, I wish this was live right now. Like, I wish it was like it wasn't already pre-recorded, because so much more. Like, I want Andy Cohen to do a Watch What Happens Live with Faith.
There we go.
To just do an interview with her and
a one-on-one.
I think he owes that to us.
Like he did one with he's done that with Luann. He did it with what's his name? The one who had a big dick that was fucking Vicky. Brooks.
Yes.
Yes. So like he did that with Brooks and let Brooks come and explain himself. Like he owes it to her. And the thing is like, you know, they knocked her over to MTV and they were happy about it. Like
Yeah.
they were like, we're done with you at Bravo. And like that thing too is Billie Lee when she spoke out about it. But
she's becoming hard too.
yeah, like she's coming for everybody, and she wants Jax off. Jax was refusing to film with a trans person.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. Jax has shown a lot of like problematic things this year with the whole Ariana, like, you know, with her being bisexual, and this has been something they brought up too. It's just like it's gross. Like the way he's just dismissive. I don't like the way he talks to women.
No, yeah, even in the reunion, like this past one, like just everything out of his mouth is just disgusting.
Yeah,
like, sit down.
And the thing is in like the old guard was really trying to bat down the new guard. You know what I mean? Like the old girls do not like the new ones. They are so threatened, and so
I
it was.
Like they liked Dana. I don't feel like anyone likes Charlie at this very moment.
Which is great. We need more Charlie in our lives.
Yes, but I think Dana, she fit right in right away. Sheena was the only one that had a problem with her. Like Stassi and Dana had like conversations together, so I felt like Stassi was like kind of giving the torch to Dana in a way. You could see, but she's just not as bitchy.
Yeah, well, she had to hand that torch now. Like she don't get that hold that anymore. I think the whole show is going to take a different turn because the thing is,
I think so too.
The editor is now gone. That was painting Sheena to be an asshole. You know, so like that's out. You know, that's now out the door. So this whole the show is going to evolve, and so it has to because there was too many in the first place. And so I think it was production. I think they had an easy ass time getting rid of Kristen and Stassi because you know how expensive those girls were. If you think about it, 8 seasons in, they were going to 9th season. There's a certain amount of money that you have in your ass, like expensive. I want to see the takedown of Jax and Brittany. I'm hoping for that. Well, evidently, Faith has it on Brittany that Brittany had said that she was in the quotes, trigger word, she was a nappy-headed hoe.
Oh.
Did you hear about this? So there was a phone call there that was had. Yeah. So I want to say that it might be Sheena might be the missing link here in this situation where there was a phone call that that Faith was calling over to basically she was going to talk to one of the girls, and they put it on speakerphone, and Brittany was there, and Brittany heard that it was Faith, and Faith was like, well, Brittany, if you're there, I just want to, and she was like, I don't need anything to say to you, nappy-headed hoe. And I have a feeling she did say that. So, like,
being from Kentucky, I could see her saying something like that.
If that's recorded, bring it out, because I'm done with her. Like, you know, and like I think it'll be great if they paint them into like this villainy role. You know what I mean? Like in the next season. So
I mean, it's kind of hard to do because Brittany, she's very calculated when she's being filmed. I feel like she tries to play the sweet, innocent girl from Kentucky, but she can be like, you see when she goes off the handle, like she's like, what'd she say to Tom? I want you dead. Like, she's been noted to say crappy things like that. So,
well, when she does, like, she shuts everything down. It's always a double, you know, it's always double-sided. And the other thing too is like when she's like, this is one of the worst days of my life, Sandoval. You're the worst. You know what I mean? And like, wait a minute, Jack's fucking Faith was the worst day of your life, though, right, ho? Like, what are you talking about? So, just gross. Oh wait, I love this comment. So Johnny says they Photoshop any more people into that same opening credit. That's why they needed to get rid of them. They were like, we got to cut 4 people out. I have a feeling we're gonna have the rise of Raquel next year. You know what I mean? Because she's working for the place. James is attached. You know what I mean? Because he's the DJ and he's made a change. And then him and Kristen. So Kristen's gone. So that's like his foil. And he and Katie made up. So there's like a whole new synergy that's going to happen, I think, for the next season.
I feel like there still might be some new characters. Maybe they might have African American person or a gay person.
It would be fabulous.
It would be nice.
Well, it's kind of amazing that Billy Lee kind of put something together, and I was like, oh, and I didn't want to believe it about the show. Was when Billy Lee said that people of color and what's called LGBT people are like the villains on the show, and so they can get rid of them, and that's kind of been the truth because James's old best friend, the gay boy, we have Billy who became a villain to all the girls, and then they also did the same thing with Faith, and so it's kind of like, oh, this is a little bit touchy.
Well, you know what's sad is when I was auditioning for Big Brother, I've heard through many articles and rumors, like they want the gay person to be the villain. They don't want them to be all happy and joyful. They want them to be the villain and go for everyone.
Well, because
so, like when I was auditioning, I played it as I would be the villain of the show. But I mean, it's so innocent and sweet.
It would be great to play the villain and then have a swap at the end where all of a sudden it's like, you know what I mean? And if you can play the villain, I think as gays we can do snark. You know what I mean? And we can say shit to guys and girls and get under the skin. You know what I mean? Like there is a weird place. I mean, like look at Ross Matthews on Big Brother, that he was able to play every single angle that he was dealt. And the only way that he wasn't going to win is because Marissa was in the final two with him.
Well, that's different though. America already knows those people. When you're coming on from just regular Joes, like you don't know how these people are in real life. Like we've seen Ross grow up from the Jay Leno show. So,
But I think there was also, but in the sense of like playing the game, I think it's easier as a gay guy to go sit with the girls, and it's also, go sit with the boys. The same thing.
Boys too,
exactly. Same thing for a lesbian. You know what I mean? So it's like we do have that upper hand, in that reality sense. And so if you look at the survivors, most of the best ones have all been gay. Richard Hatch, the ultimate villain, you know what I mean? Who won the very first season, and like, so it's
a villain though.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is because if you can be a villain and be fabulous about it, you have to be so polarizing that you like kind of have to love you at the same time. So
you can always come back and then be the hero.
Exactly. So let's transition. This is a perfect transition to actually go talking about villains. Let's talk about New York City. And how Dorinda is the villain. She went from being the fave, like a girl, you know what I mean? Always down to her, and like she's the villain. And then Ramona has just, I think it might be Ramona's last season. It's like, it's starting to scare me a little bit. Yeah.
Unless she starts dating someone. Like we need to see like those wedding bells coming up. Like someone that she's going to spend the rest of her life with. Because other than that, she has no storyline. Like she's boring.
Yeah, true. You know what I mean? So, and she's being like this mother figure right now, and like, but she did kind of play them today. So, okay, so I don't have my notes in front of me, but I can remember everything. So, okay, so I know that we opened up at the very beginning, so we were at the audition. So they were going to be. So Luann is going back into her whole cabaret situation, and so because she thinks she's funny, okay. And there's like this whole situation with her and
one that and that guy that's producing it.
He's like, this is so funny. We're gonna get all these comics in here. And then Sonia, she's fabulous, and Sonia's gonna take off her dress. You know what I mean? It's like she's done that already. So they're bringing in Sonia, and Sonia
in her confessional. She's not funny.
She's not funny. Well, Sonia's like, okay, every single time I go to kiss you, I don't know what side you're going to go on, and you're always smearing my lipstick. So is it right or left with you? She just needs to know at this point. It's like the breaking point. And it harkens back to the Countess being the woman of class and them also being society. And so like, and she, was in Italy. So they kissed like this and, over here in this place. Okay, whatever, Luann. But Luann's like, oh, we can make that a bit. We can make it a bit. Like everything is a bit. And Sonia calls it out. She was like, not everything has to be funny. Like she's gonna make breakfast funny. Like, it's my blueberries. That she's gonna have a moment. She's gonna have a moment in this cabaret where she's gonna be like, it's eggs a la française. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna bring that and you're like, oh God, or she's gonna do all of her buzzwords. Don't be all uncool, How could you do this to me? Question mark. So I mean, it's iconic, but they bring in these comics, and the thing is the comics don't want to give away like their best line, so it's just like random bad parts. And if you look at them, it's either gay boys or like girls who are 27 on the inside but 43 in the clothing department. Like,
like that watch Housewives every day. Like, it seems like they were only Housewife fans.
It was like, it's Sonia Morgan. They were wearing Sonia Morgan. Like, like they showed up in a Sonia Morgan like sweater. And so that was cute-ish. Then we flip over to Tinsley and Leah on the phone talking about Tinsley's been going back and forth to see Scott. They, you know, that this is like a thing, and that she's making a commitment. So she admits it there to Leah that she's gonna dive in with Scott. They're together. There's no ring yet, but it's coming. And then they're gonna be going to a haunted house. So, and we have the girls, they're all coming up the street into this whole haunted house situation.
That was hilarious. I was cracking up.
When they were when they were jumping out and scaring everybody.
It was so funny.
It was like, and every single one's like, oh my God, we're at diaper with Sonia. Like, and Sonia's infamous peeing. So it was cute. I love that with Ramona. She's like, I'm crying and laughing. But, just like, is this a stalker or is this supposed to be happening right now? You know? And then they went through the whole haunted house situation. Okay, where did they find the twin scary girls who cackled just like Ramona and Sonia? They're like,
that was a beautiful moment.
It was so beautiful. And then they were like, Tinsley's like talking about, well, then they found these two girls and they like, ah! And then they did like, they went into the past and they were showing all the parts of like of the girls like cackling, like running through hallways and shit. And so it was too dead on. Then from there, they went over to the tequila place. And this is where Dorinda just starts being mean. And like, she was mean. Like the turkey baster comments, you know.
Oh, that was bad.
Like, you know, this woman really wants a fucking kid, and like, you're just being nasty at this point, you know? And then it was like old guard was like in solidarity with her, you know what I mean? So we have Ramona, Sonia, Luann, and, you know, basically kowtowing to Miss Dorinda because, you know, they're all on her good side and they don't want to yell at her right now.
Like, do you think Dorinda was drunk? Because she didn't seem it.
I think
usually when she acts like that, she's like super drunk. But I didn't get that from her.
There's like an anger from her right now that like, I think it just, even without alcohol, it's just amplified. You know what I mean? And who knows how much Adderall these girls are doing too. Sure. And so, well, I think there's a point of it too, is that Dorinda is done. You know what I mean? Like, she had that life, she had that thing. And it's the same thing with Sonia. So for them to find another king, essentially, that has more money than God to marry, you know, there's a miss of that. And I think that's why they enjoy being on Housewives so much, because they get that same endorphin rush from having 50,000 followers. And you know what I mean? Like, it's what it is, you know what I mean? And so they had all this money at one point, and now they don't have it. And Tinsley has always had the money. She grew up with a silver spoon. Yeah. And she found her prince finally. And so Tinsley's about to take the ride that they've already been on. You know what I mean? And so I think that's Dorinda's problem here, is that Tinsley is just about to, you know, she's about to get married and she's about to have those happy moments of having a baby. And you know what I mean? Tinsley's going to have it all. And so it's kind of amazing she's giving up the show for this. Like, this is one of the most graceful exits ever for a housewife.
It really was. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah, that it's almost like the door's open, you know what I mean, for her to come back. They didn't shit on her.
Chicago.
I would love it. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
We get some Midwest housewives with some like long A's. You want some water? You want some water? You know what I mean? Like, I would love that. I'm from Ohio. Come on, give me that.
Now they've always wanted the Jewish Chicago one. They just haven't found the right cast.
Yeah, well, Tinsley would be a good anchor right now. You know what I mean? She knows how to make TV. Because Tinsley was just getting good this year. She was finally there. She finally clocked in. Like, second episode of the season, you were like, Tinsley is here. and now we're gonna lose her. You know what I mean? And so she's giving it up for the guy. I think.
Did you watch What Happens Live?
I did. I watched it actually right before this, and so
like it was cool. Like how Andy was like, "When was the last time you talked with Dorinda?" And she was like, this past summer, or like last year."
Yeah, last year.
We haven't spoken to each other even when the show started.
Yeah, which is just like, because Dorinda's been insufferable. Like she wouldn't accept anything from Tinsley. Even when Tinsley was trying to make up with her at that dinner, like how Tinsley was saying, I was drunk, I wasn't noticing how crazy Leah really was. And my whole situation, like she was saying that I wanted to just go over and hug Dorinda and make it up and just be done with it. And so, and then back at so now at this tequila thing, Dorinda is seeing online that Tinsley put a post on Instagram that she's, that she was in Chicago. And so now it's like, you haven't told us. And so it's blindsiding us. And so it's like, you guys always have the pact that like, if the press asks you anything, that's no comment situation. So why does it matter right now for you not to be the first person to know? She's living in the moment. I think good on her, but so that was it was uncomfortable. And like Dorinda with her whole, I just love that she's like pulling the tube top down on the thing, and like she's not stripping, she's wearing a full on shirt, and like Leah's like, this is déclassé behavior, and you're like, Leah, it's not really déclassé, like it's just like she's just pulling the thing down and being kind of an idiot at a bar, like she's not pawing at the curtains on the wall and breaking up the centerpieces with her fingers. So that scene was just kind of what it was, but it was thing because Lou finally engaged with Tinsley and like, oh, so you're going to be going, and none of the girls were really giving her anything, and they were just being completely rude, and like even for like the toast was just kind of like a fizzle, you know what I mean? Like, and so there was like no attention paid and no fucks given, and I think that was the thing is like Tinsley was done with Dorinda, I think, at that point, like she got the man, she don't need you anymore. So they gave us that weird scene with what's his name? Wait, we have comments. What are we saying? Adderall is a thing on Bravo. Even Jack said that's how he lost so much weight for the wedding. Well, they've all admitted it because even Sheena, she's even admitted on her show. And I was watching an earlier episode, so I've actually been like, to calm my emotions and to take my mind off of things, like while I'm cooking, I listen to Housewives. And I've actually been like it was season 3. I was now in season 4 or 5, and I'm like getting into 6. And so there's a whole thing too where Ramona is like, oh, we'll just take some Adderall. Like when they were like out or somewhere, because that's how these women keep going and keep drinking. And Ramona knows how to like low dose herself so she doesn't get the crazy as the other girls a lot of times. So, but anyway, so they had that weird scene with Leah and her ex and Kiki and like, yeah, it was like about a plant, and basically so she could just kind of reiterate that they're not together, they're perfect husband and wife, but they don't live together and they don't sleep together. And so, and it's just like, okay, but now in Quar, they doing it. Like they doing it in Quar because this is it. Like he's in the bubble, so like you know what I mean. You have your social bubble that they're revising now. But so anyway, so they just had that like really like weird like little throwaway scene. We have Tinsley that she went to drinks with Ramona and Lou to kind of make amends, and so Ramona says that she felt bad, that she just basically she was on the same side as Tins, and she was good. Wait, let's rewind. We got to rewind for a second. Ramona took Sonia and Dorinda to the warehouse out in Long Island for this meeting. Okay, so number one, they get there. This guy is slimy and everything else. They had no idea that they were traveling an hour outside the city. They were thinking we're going to a warehouse uptown, and they're now kidnapped in the car. Okay, so Ramona's wheeling and dealing. She's gonna have a party for 60 people. She's having a party for 60 people.
60 of her girlfriends.
60 of her girlfriends. Okay. 60 girlfriends. And she's saying it's her coming out party. She's coming out as single. She's coming out single. Ramona, what is this 64? Because the thing is I think you're 64 this year. You know what I mean? Like, or you were 60. Like you already turned 60. Like we know how old you are. So why are you only inviting 60 people? Like there's, invite your age number. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do like that kind of thing, like I'm gonna have 63 people there because I'm 63 years old. Something like that would make sense. But like this whole, I have 60 girlfriends. And then she's coming out single. You've been single for quite a few years now. Like we all know that you're single. Like, girl, you've also had the Harry Dubin. You know what I mean? Like we all know what's going on. So it's too much with this bitch. So Ramona, she takes them all the way out there. Okay, now when they were sitting down at that table, and Sonia's like suggesting that they have a party together. That Sonia have the party with her. And it was kind of like, oh, you're pushing this, but the thing is, but Ramona didn't handle it well. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be the top. Yeah, bring your own cake, and we'll cut you a slice of cake on the side in the booth. And this whole party was like so fucked up too, because it was like, she's 60 people for her coming out as single, which makes no sense. Then she doesn't want to give anybody any place settings. You know what I mean? Like she just wants you to mingle around the room, grab a plate, then sit down somewhere, and then get back up and walk. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just very like it's a cocktail hour, but with food. And then she's also, what was the other part of this that she was also they're munching. Okay, they were munching on all that candy on the middle of the table. Okay. I know what that shit was, all old bar mitzvah candy and like wedding candy bars. You know what I mean? Like that was the stuff that they would bring home at the end of the night, because it was like, why do you have a whole jar of pink M&Ms? Because it's from a baby shower. That's why. And the leftovers. Like, like it's like all these random things. And like I was like, yeah, this is what this is. Like they didn't unwrap it just for her.
They were munching like crazy too.
Because they didn't have any more Adderall to take while we were there. They got hungry finally. Allegedly. But then the whole thing is like, so Ramona, she's, Ramona's wheeling and dealing, as Dorinda says. And she's like, when I want something, I just put my credit card down. Like, this is what it is. And so it's so funny. Then when they go to leave, he's like, oh, I want a picture for your social media. Okay, this is like, that was Ramona taking advantage, because that got her more flowers. That's why she's gonna get the big flower arrangements, because these girls, you have to pay Dorinda for like a cameo. You have to pay Sonia for like promotion. It comes hand in hand with this reality thing, is that a reality star is never off the job, because we own them now. You know what I mean? Like, so if you see it, like it's something, like Leslie Grossman says, like you see, like listen to her in podcasts and stuff, that like they belong to the public. Reality stars belong to the public, and so if you see them out and about, you should be able to come over and take a picture at the end of a meal. Like, don't be rude, but it's what it is. And so it's the same thing, but they make their money off these posts, off of social media. And so Ramona took advantage and got 3 housewives on a photo on this guy's timeline.
Yeah.
in New York City. In New York City, not even New York City, in Long Island, because that goes even further. Because that Long Island bunch is like, oh, we gotta be just like the housewives. So
she was doing.
Totally.
That's why she kept them all in the car and didn't tell them.
And the thing is they're like, we get kidnapped and now we have to do a promo? Like, I wonder how bad they were buzzing in that car off that sugar on their way home. Like, just like all over the place. Yes. But they're setting up for like this party upon parties that she's going to be doing. So I wonder if this is going to be
There's a lot coming up.
Is that our finale party, you think?
Probably. That's going to be.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So as the so that's when we flip back over. So this is the whole situation with Tinsley now is going away. And so she's packing up. She's packing up, and she's already made amends with Luann and Ramona. Oh my God. So at that little cocktail time, when Ramona, when she went to make up with those two, okay, Luann, when she has a gimmick, Luann will play that gimmick. Okay, so now Luann is trying to be the chuckle one. She's trying to be the jokester. You know what I mean? Like, she shows up dressed as a cougar. Isn't this funny with the whiskers? Like, is it a joke, you guys? Is it a kick? Like, it's constant, like, foolery with Luann. Like she's just trying to make jokes. She's just like running around. And then she shows up at this little cocktail hour and she comes up behind Ramona. Boo! I got you, didn't I? You know what I mean? Like she's just always like, oh, it's a bit. It's all a bit for this bit. And then at that little like cocktail time with Tinsley, like to say goodbye, Ramona double booked that shit with a date.
No. Oh, those guys were so creepy.
Ugh. Like he showed up and he's like, ugh. Like, and he was kind of like a John with hair. You know what I mean? Like almost like, okay, if John and John Travolta had a baby, that would have been him.
Yeah.
And the thing was, and he kind of led you to believe that he fucked Lou at some point.
Oh yeah, the way he was talking to her, went up to her.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, remember we partied that time and whatever, you know what I mean? And she's like, oh yes. And then Tinsley's like, oh yeah, and we met too at the Regency of all places. Like, Luann,
go to the Regency sometime.
Have a cocktail at the Regency. You know, take a picture with the bartenders. Be like, okay, who here knows Luann? And take a picture. You know, like, make it a trip. Make it a treat. Like it would be fun. But
no, okay, so but the one, did you see like the little tinier guy that was there too? He was just like staring at the women like they were just meat. It was so gross. And I was just watching him, and he's just like on the bar, like just staring. I'm like, look, get him off of her.
It's too funny. I have to go now. I'll rewatch it at some point because that's my life. I
like to watch people in the background. That's my thing. Like,
see,
and also there's all these girls outside, and you can see them all in the one corner shot, and they're all like there with their cameras because they knew it, like a taping was going on. So it's like all these New York kids that like housewives of the real New York, and they're all like trying to get like a snapshot of it. It was really funny.
I should check that out now because the thing is sometimes I like block out the background if I feel like there's so much going on in the foreground because that guy was like all over them. Like he like was like he was a close talker. Like he's like as he's talking to them, like he pushed Lou out of the way to talk to Tinsley. You know what I mean? Like he was just like, I'm done talking to you. And so it was nice. The thing is I want to say Dorinda is basically saying that and Leah are like, oh, they just want they want to be invited to the wedding. That's why they went and did that. Right. So that's what they're saying on social media is that like that's the reason why Ramona and Luann made up with Tinsley at that last moment, you know, to have a good send off. And the whole thing is it's like, so do you don't have a ring? No, but he's building me a closet. Oh, he's building you a closet. That is a big deal. Like that was like
total Carrie Bradshaw.
All
she wanted was a closet.
Yeah, he's building her a closet, not giving her space. And then he's also building her a glam bathroom so she can do her glam. So when you know when she has makeup artists and stuff like that, and
you
so
don't want to be in that room when she's trying to put on those eyelashes.
Yeah, and he doesn't want
her in a separate room.
You want people around. You know what I mean? Like that'll be Tinsley's crying room. Like
taking off her makeup.
Yeah. Oh my God, that apartment though, when they were showing it on the FaceTime. Oh my God, it's huge in Chicago. Like that's Oprah money. Yeah. Like that's an Oprah apartment. So, you know, Leah was like, oh, I have IKEA. like, oh no, Leah, that's not great. It's not good. It's not
she said she didn't care. On Watch What Happens Live, she's like, I don't care that Luann like boshed my apartment. She's like, oh, I like my apartment.
Well, that's because it is a $2 million apartment. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an expensive apartment, but like, it's not that part. It's how you keep it inside, girl. Like you had a purse on a nail. Like when you walk in the door, like that wasn't a coat hook. It was like a screw sitting out the wall that you were putting a purse on, like one single purse. Like, and we saw it today, like you've been living in this apartment. Why is there not a stitch of like a paint color and nothing? There's no personality. Like that plant that died for a reason. It didn't want to be there anymore. Like that plant
said, get me out of here.
It said, I'm out. I want to be done. This is boring and this is depressing in this house. So yeah, that's like Leah's house is sad. But yeah, so like, you know, Tinsley's moving into this big mansion. So then they cut over to like Tinsley now like packing up and Dale is there and Dale is crying over her baby cups. And so like I never noticed that Tinsley had like baby pictures of herself on the wall. I don't have not one damn baby. Like my partner has a baby picture here. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something. But she doesn't live. This is our house, not a residential hotel. Like, I'm looking at like the mantle behind me. I'm like, what do we have? What do we have? Like, and so it's funny because the way that she like kind of like lives. She's living in this residential apartment. They're crying over a cup. And the thing is, and Dale, okay, when Dale's crying over this cup, and she's like, I mean, you've just always lived on the East Coast. She's moving to Chicago, bitch.
It's not that far away.
It's a 70-minute flight from New York to Chicago.
It's closer than freaking, where'd she live? Miami?
Yeah, at Palm Beach. And that's where
it's closer than that.
Well, that's where Dale usually lives too. Dale spends her time in Palm Beach and Newport, which is why that's where Tinsley's sending all of her shit. She's like, I'm gonna send most of my stuff because Scott doesn't want all of her shit at the house. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna go build a new life, and so
he kicks her out.
Well, not only that, but the thing is, it's like, do you want 18 pictures of Tinsley when she was 5 through 7? You know what I mean? Like she's like, yeah, like, so it's just that. And so plus all of her stuff is gold and his apartment is nice. So
true story.
It's like a whole thing. But so Dale is like crying over the baby cup. And then they go into like the whole montage of her crying in every single appearance she's ever made on the show. It's just like, oh, the eggs. Oh, Tinsley, you're just so miserable at the circus. Oh my God. Like this woman is giving us tears. But it kind of felt like, okay, so when like Sonia shows up and Leah shows up, and so like it's like, yeah, like they're sending her off, and like it was a good bookend too for her to like have Sonia be the one to be like, see you later, because that's where she started. And they also showed like the good memories with Sonia, not the ones of like, she didn't give me a gift. She didn't, you know what I mean? Like, she never makes me coffee in the morning, like any of that kind of thing. Like they didn't show any of that. They just showed all like, yeah, you should find yourself a real estate broker, like those kind of moments. It's just so cute. But when Sonia shows up and she's like hugging Dale and they're like dancing around, I was kind of like, ooh, are they passing the baton? Is Dale going to be on the show?
Oh my God.
Like that would be kind of fun though if Dale was on the show.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah, we just have this older like debutante.
Just crying every scene.
Yeah, but I will expect fully for New York to put a person of color in this role. That person should get Tinsley's apple. Somebody of color needs to get Tinsley's apple.
Well, they've been trying for Wendy Williams.
Ugh, I don't want her on there though. She's not good with anything. Like, yeah, she's kind of a terrible person.
Right.
Yeah, no. I would love some like new blood. Leah should be able to bring it in because she is a fan of Black culture. She is, she's very flexible. She's a march. She's protesting. You know what I mean? Like, and she has been so for years. So
what if they brought in Leah's sister?
No,
you don't think so?
Well, maybe it might bring a lot of drama.
I mean, because look at how New Jersey was very family oriented, and it just and the Richard sisters, the sisters never do too well together, so it might be some good drama. That's
true. Teresa and Melissa, and then like, well, Jersey was built on the back of sisters and sister-in-laws and that sort of thing. So yeah, but it breaks up a family.
So maybe you might not want to do that, girls.
And you can kind of tell too is like Leah is the golden child of that family more than or not Leah. I'm sorry, the sister is, because the sister is not the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, her sister. I forget her sister's name. I always want to call her Emily, like the goth girl Emily, but I don't know. Right, it's Leah in a wig, but like Leah, she but like her sister has like the baby, she's given the grant, you know what I mean, like, and that sort of a thing. So, and she's always been on this steady rock. So,
and we also saw that she could hold her own too when she was at that dinner.
True. So maybe they could bring her in, and it would be a total versus. You know what I mean? And I feel like the other girls might be like, I've been hoodwinked. You know what I mean? Like Lou. So, they have that whole like goodbye to Tinsley, and then
it was sweet.
It was very sweet. The dogs were cute, you know what I mean? Like he taking the dog. taking the dogs and her. That whole strawberry shortcake thing. How she's like, and then when she was talking like she was talking Chinese to them or whatever. And the thing is like,
Mandarin.
Yeah, she's talking Mandarin. And it was like, girl, these were not anybody's pets ever. These were food dogs. Like what are you doing? Like, they don't know any language. You could just talk English and just start them up. You know what I mean? Like, just teach them anew. Like, this is the new thing, you know? So, and, you know, God bless her, though, because they are the cutest dogs.
I like their coats.
Yeah, the little puffy coats. I want to get one for my dog. Like, and there's no even need for a puppy coat here. And like, we did get her raincoat, and it is the cutest thing. So she's so spoiled. They did the mid-season trailer. So what we do send off Tinsley. Yeah, Tinsley leaves. They do a little chyron in the middle of the thing saying goodbye, Tinsley, basically. That Tinsley got her ring eventually of her dreams, and now she's gonna get the closet of her dreams. Blah blah blah. But anyways, yeah, the explosive like update. Oh my gosh. I love when Sonia gets mad. They showed that little piece of like Sonia, like in, I think it might be at Ramona. And I love it because we haven't seen that from Sonia since Aviva. Aviva was one that Sonia could take on. And like when she was like, Jesus, like when she like leaves the room and like, you know, you are not going to talk to me this way. Like, and so, like, that's the thing is I love when Sonia becomes a Spitfire because she's sober and she's there and she hits hard. And usually she's a little bit loose and like loosey goosey with her alcohol, but like she's not, you know, up on like the level that we all should be on when we wanted to make a fight, you know. Like, you can't stand up straight, girl. You can't fight right now. You got to go sit down. Like, and so, but when she's got her shit together, there was a lot of mention of vagina. So I have a feeling we're going to see some vaginas this season. So,
well, yeah. Well, we've already seen a lot.
Yeah. Well, what's her name? Dorinda's like, her vagina smiled at me. Like,
her vagina has wings.
Yes. And then there was like, you're talking about my crotch to the whole entire, you know, Upper East Side. And she's like, I'm not bringing it up. Like, you're flashing it. You know what I mean?
Maybe the PETA thing is going to come out.
No, because they said that it never came through because she said that on Watch What Happens Live, she's like, it never actually came out. The picture never leaked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the thing is, she would know exactly who had it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she could sue him immediately.
My favorite thing of the trailer was when Leah goes, I elevate this.
Yes. I don't bring the group down.
Ramona that said she brings the group down or something.
Yeah.
She's like, if anything, I elevate it. And I was like, yes, you do.
Yeah, I elevate this shit, like anything. So there's that. I think, yeah, and then there's that moment too where yeah, and we're getting the back behind the scenes stuff. Like we have that moment of Ramona breaking the fourth wall. It's like, stop it, stop. You know what I mean? So that's either one of her friends that wasn't shooting, that didn't want to be on the camera. Something happened to them. You know what I mean? Like food maybe got thrown because there was a lot of like, they keep on bringing that up too, because we had the throwing of the ravioli. This time Ramona has food on her shirt, you know, that kind of thing. And they put those little Easter eggs in when it comes to like reality shows like this, that like, you know, it's going to be a big deal again, like in the future. And they mention vagina so much. I have a feeling it's going to be something about Leah flashed her stuff at the party and now everybody's talking about it, but it's Ramona talking about like how déclassé it is. I have a feeling that's where these are going to like kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But there was something I was going to say too about that fourth wall. Like, yeah, when Ramona's telling like, stop it, you know, we're getting that from every single season this year, which like every single franchise, which I'm loving.
I don't think we've ever seen it in New York, though. I don't think anyone's ever done it in New York.
No.
So this is going to be new for that, especially for Ramona to do it, because she's one of the OGs. And so they are very
12 seasons
rules and everything. So yeah,
12 seasons. That woman is making bank off the show. She's got to be making a couple mil a year now. You know what I mean? She's probably got like a $250,000 an episode kind of a situation. Yeah. She's doing well. And so, and that's the thing is that's why they have to watch their backs, because get rid of that big money and you have more budget.
Replaceable.
Well, the thing is then you're like, look, we got rid of Lisa Vanderpump this year and we got them going to Rome. You know what I mean? Like there's an escalation there. So I think OC will probably have better trips because now Vicky's gone. Because Vicky and Tamara were using all of that budget.
Yeah.
Because they had been so long last. Tamara was a season 2 and Vicky was season 1, and they were in season like 14. After you hit that threshold of like 10 seasons, it's a whole nother story of what your ask is for reality show.
Yeah.
So it puts you out, you know, in these TV things. So like when I look it up, like in the like little background, so it was easy to get rid of. But Ramona doing that, I mean, like this, I loved. Okay, you watched Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So when Teresa did it, when Teresa was found out that she had encouraged her to pull the hair, and when Marge goes off and she's like, "You're not going to use this, are you?" And it was like, and then all of a sudden they like pulled the camera back, and you see all the other cameras and boom mics, and it was like, yeah, they're going to use it. And it was like, oh, it all of a sudden became the comeback. You know what I mean? Like it was all of a sudden like it was we were seeing the fourth wall is broken.
But then Teresa goes, "Fuck you," and the girls are like, she's saying it to the producer, not to us.
Yeah. She's like, and then she throws the water, and like everybody else, like Dolores is in the way of it because she's throwing it at a producer. Yeah. She goes up to the room. I mean, I'm loving it because that's the thing is these shows have to evolve, and this is where we have to go with this reality show situation with Bravo, is they have to pull this curtain back a little bit because they can't keep pretending like these people aren't famous, you know? And so Potomac is amazing. And when they come back, we're going to have to be talking about that because like they are still early enough that they're not all famous yet. They don't, you know what I mean? And they live in a city too, where they're just kind of in their city. They're not like New York or LA, that they're so close to like the buzz of it all, like Miami. But like, so I think that's the thing. And like, we're also going to get like the Salt Lake City girls that are coming through. So there's still a place for them to do the old formula. But I think that like New York, Jersey, your Beverly Hills, Atlanta even, you know what I mean? Like last year when we saw Nene pulling the shirt.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We've seen that in Atlanta a lot.
Mm-hmm.
the fourth wall's broken a lot.
Yeah, and like when you hear them getting the questions asked to them now, like all of that is just great. And so I'm loving that. And so
I mean, as a viewer, that's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I live for that stuff.
It's the fatal flaw of Vanderpump Rules. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the big fatal flaw. Vanderpump Rules is the situation that they have is that like what do you call it? The everybody's famous. You know, Stassi had all these things going on. Sheena has a million projects, you know, going on. Sheena was in a show in Vegas, and they didn't talk about it. You know what I mean? So like, start talking about all the extra stuff that they're doing and stop pretending that they work the bar. You know what I mean? Like, show those people, and then now they anchor to the people who aren't in the show anymore, who don't have to work at the bar. You have Tom, so those relationships are still there. So this whole faking that like Jax has to go pick up a shift to pay for his wedding, like blow me. Like, come on, this is so reaching. We know that that's not a thing. So that stuff is always like the eye roll stuff, where the woke stuff is all the shit that was going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is we need to see more of all that. So, and damn, Kristen was finally getting happy with the new boo, and then she got the axe. So nobody's gonna get to see that story. So, do you think that also like, oh my God, Stassi's wedding?
Well, first of all, Italy, are they even out of quarantine yet, or?
I don't know. I don't think
it was supposed to be in Italy, and it was supposed to be this summer.
But even so, like even just to get married, but to have the TV wedding, that sponsored fucking wedding.
Well, it's definitely not going to be filmed, and a lot of the shit was being paid for by her sponsors and everything. Now everyone's pulling out, so she's fucked.
She's paying it for
after buying a $2.1 million house,
which Bo admitted to not being able to afford in the last episode. That like this is Stassi's house, like he's just there. Ugh. Like, does that mean that that's the other part of it too? Is that okay? So like when you talk about like the whole people being canceled, and then they have a partner and they have a loved one or that sort of a thing. Like, what does Bo do with this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, are you sticking by her for all this? You know what I mean?
He's clearly done with this show too.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's like there's no way that, you know, unless he breaks up with her, and then it becomes like that, you know. I wonder if their contracts even include like this whole like morality kind of a clause thing, and that they don't get any kind of residual off of anything. Do you know what I mean? Like they're
like the back episodes that they play.
Yeah, like the first few seasons, I know that they probably made, I want to say like some of them said that they made like $7,500 for the whole season, and that was it. They don't make anything off the returns. They don't make anything off of the views on Hulu and all that. But you would imagine that these more later seasons, like season 6, season 7, that kind of thing, when they're giving away so much, now they have actual management, that those deals were put in to like take care of them, you know what I mean, in perpetuity. Yeah. And I wonder if they lose that from like for morality's sake, you know, and for something.
I feel like they would.
Yeah,
especially if you get fired from something,
mm-hmm.
if you kind of like, if they're like, okay, look, this just isn't working, we're gonna offer you like a friend role, like they did with Vicky. I think when you get the axe, you're just like done with everything. Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like, because they're not going to come back and, you know, speak up for themselves and that sort of thing, because it's bad. It's a bad look for the network. You know what I mean?
I'm sure Lisa still gets stuff when she's like on a flashback of Real Housewives.
Yeah, because she has a different,
like
you know. Yeah, Lisa.
I'm sure she has.
Yeah,
she wasn't fired. She chose to leave.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that, you know, it's a different way of either being. If you're fired, it's one thing too. You know what I mean? Like if they let you go, like Kristen Takeman, we don't want to see you anymore. Go home. And the thing is like, so you're gonna still keep those. You know what I mean? It's just like kind of like losing your role like on a network show. You know what I mean? Like Gunther, the guy who played Gunther in Friends, is still, if he's fine, even though he doesn't have the job anymore. Like that's one thing. But
he gets a residual check.
Yeah, but for you to be a person who was like, you know, you're a reality star, you know what I mean? Like you're giving away like your life in that sense, and you know, you didn't have that kind of management in the beginning, and the problem with these girls is that it's the morality clause situation, you know what I mean? Like you fucked up, you broke the law in a sense, you did something that was against what company standards is. You get, you know, even though that they're on a network show, they still have to do the sexual harassment training. They still have to do that. They still have to do HR. You know what I mean? They get a handbook of what Bravo's guidelines are. You're allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? But the other shit about this is like the most crazy stuff was happening off the camera. Yeah. These kids were really friends. That they were really like, you know, they were really ride or dies for each other, and they made a bad decision. So, like,
to go on reality TV.
Yeah, and like they, you know, that they wish they would have never made that call 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and it's back to haunt them now. Like, oof, don't do it. Don't do it. That's the whole thing. It's like, you know, don't be that person. So. Okay, so that was like, we kind of like went through it today, and we talked about extra stuff. So if you have made it to the end of the little cast today, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been another episode of Binge Bitches Talks Housewives. You can follow me on IG at Dangilo Gogo. You can follow Gunther at Gunther Vanderpump on TikTok and IG. Nelson's stuff is in there too, but you can follow him if you want to, but he wasn't even here. Anyways.
That's why there were no interruptions.
Yeah.
Everyone's internet works.
Exactly. Everybody's internet works. So next week we will let you know where we're going to be, actually, because there is no new Housewives. We have nothing new from Bravo next week. So for 2 weeks, actually, until the 4th of July. So we might do some vintage episodes. I'm thinking of, we should like tear back into, because I don't think Nelson's ever experienced Scary Island. You know what I mean? Or the, you know, those kind of episodes. So I think we should go there, maybe like an old Beverly Hills or something. So I think that'll be fun.
Dinner party from.
Yes. Dinner Party from Hell with Alison Dubois.
Yeah.
And your husband will never fulfill you emotionally. That is one of the best lines ever. Yeah, and that's also where we get, go to sleep, like, look, you guys, we can't say anything else about her. This person's having a mental breakdown right now, and we're not helping. Like that, if you actually watch season 3, season 4, Sonia was on her shit, man. Like, and like just so like with it, and like, why are you leaving me with her? You know, that kind of thing. It was so good. So we'll probably take a dive into that. I know you'll be kind of like in your little travel mode, so we'll figure out what day we want to do that, and maybe you can tune in for a special like segment. What else are we doing here? I'm just trying to think. So, next week we're coming back with we're doing our last Star Wars for a while for Binge Bitches, my panel sessions. We're gonna be doing The Mandalorian next week, so that's gonna be going on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And then I think I'm resuming Farm School just to finish that out. And I think I'm gonna be picking up Drag Race because we need to do some All Stars. So we got to talk about that shit because I know there's a new episode of that tonight. And then I think I'm right now just kind of getting it all together. But as soon as my Star Wars is over, my next scripted series is probably gonna be Watchmen. So we'll see how that all works out. But anyways, thank you for watching Binge Bitches. Please subscribe, like us on YouTube, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, Gunther.
Bye.
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 Cheers.